Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Devecioglu, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 154 in the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. Here is the quote of the day. The two most important days in life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. All right, we have a great guest in the American Business Podcast. I'm going to invite our guest and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Randy. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Oh, it's going great. Very good.
Sounds great. Where are you connecting out of?
I'm in Clearwater, Florida, down here in hurricane zone.
Okay, I see. Well, it's a beautiful place. So I'm glad that you are connecting and joining us today in the American Business Podcast. It's very nice meeting you. I'm looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this conversation. So if that's okay, let's get it started.
All right.
Sounds good. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
So my name is Randy Landreneau. I'm the president of US Inventor. By the way, that's usinventor.org. And we are a nonprofit fighting very hard to restore to inventors and patent-based startups rights that they had from the beginning of the country that presently are extremely weak because of some bad laws and some bad Supreme Court decisions. So we're trying to bring all that back for the little guy, which includes probably any startup that's listening, where, especially if you're considering something that could be patented, this is what we're doing is critical for your future.
That's a great mission. And in the American Business Podcast, we welcome nonprofits and we also welcome startups. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a great episode. We just talked about startups with our guest. And if you can expand on it, how important it is, what you do for companies and organizations, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. So maybe I should back up a little bit. There's this thought in America, America is the place of innovation, right? America has led the world in innovation for many, many years, over a century, maybe 2 centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, well, maybe there's something odd about America. Why is it that America is so innovative, right? And it all began with an amazing decision by the founders of this country, all the way back in 1790. We're talking the third ever act of Congress. George Washington was president. And what was done here, imagine this. Think about in 1790, 240 years ago, the world was run by aristocracies. Right? If you were the king or a friend of the king or someone who knew the king, you're in pretty good shape. If you were the common person, you weren't thought too highly of, right? Didn't have all that much going for you. And our founders said, you know what, we're going to say in America, if you invent something that's never been done before, you can own it for a limited period of time. But you can own it yourself, no matter who you are, whether you have land or money or anything. And even women. Now, think about this. Women didn't have a lot of rights 240 years ago. But the Patent Act of 1790 described inventors as he, she, or they, meaning that women had all the rights of men when it came to patents and copyright, written materials. This was huge. This was radical. This was revolutionary for the world. And the aristocrats across the in England and elsewhere, they kind of scoffed at it, like the common man can invent something, right? But of course, very soon they were proven totally wrong. America was right. Our founders were right. And America suddenly was a world power much faster than otherwise they would have been. They were innovating like crazy, and the rest of the world was trying to catch up. And it was that way for many, many years. And let me tell you this too. Our patent system was designed for the little guy. It wasn't designed for the Googles of the world, to try to shut out the little guy. It was designed for the little guy to compete with the big guys. And the ideals behind it were extremely high. Men, women, common people. And in fact, the first black owner of a patent was 1821, well before the Civil War.
Amazing.
Yeah, his name was Thomas Jennings. He was a tailor in New York City, a free man who invented the first version of dry cleaning.
Wow.
And that's pretty valuable. And he did quite well with it. And he used his wealth to help the abolitionist movement and to get relatives out of slavery. But the point is, the system was designed for the little guy and gal. And it worked beautifully. And look at America. Look, America innovated like crazy. And of course, this all begins with a startup, because you have an inventor, maybe one or two inventors, but it's always a small group. It's never the big corporation that comes out with the fantastic outside of the box thinking, because the big corporation's protecting what they have, but it's the little guy in a garage, in a dorm room, trying to compete with the big guy that comes up with the great innovation. And it starts small. It always starts small. And that's what the system is for. Because think about it. If the big guys could just take it, how do you compete with them? But if they can't just take it, suddenly you can have a startup that competes with them, or you can have, maybe you can license it to them because it's really valuable to them, and you can go on to your next invention. So it was a beautiful setup. And I will tell you this too. Big corporations have been trying for over 100 years, to weaken the system, because they don't like it when they get disrupted. Think about it. They don't want to be disrupted. And so even in the days of the Wright brothers, there were if you look at the media in the days of the Wright brothers, there were companies saying, why should we have to pay these guys anything? They're just bicycle mechanics. But they had patents, and they'd invented what these big guys were producing. So luckily our founders and our lawmakers held pretty firm and didn't make any drastic changes in the system until kind of a perfect storm of everything going wrong in 2011, where they did make drastic changes. And that's where we started to fight.
Yeah, this is a fascinating story, and a very important mission that you mentioned, especially you talk about the little guy and the small companies, mid-sized organizations, startups. Fundamentally, we say the small business is actually big business in US. That's the backbone of US economy. So what you just mentioned is very important actually for American businesses in general.
Speaking of what you're saying there, if you look at large corporations, the net effect of large corporations is very often not good for America. Like in fact, small business, they're hiring locally, they're using local resources, they're helping the local economy. It's all good for America. Huge corporations, a lot of times they're playing this game of trying to get more people from other countries that they can pay less. I guess that's what H-1B visas, right? And so, America, what really makes America thrive is small entrepreneurial businesses that are doing well. And I know that President Trump, he wants that. And I'll tell you, as we go along here, I'll tell you what he has done.
All right, I'm listening.
Yeah. So basically, let me first tell your audience what was done that was so harmful for inventors. So as an inventor, what is your right? Your right is the right of being able of having a legal ability to stop someone from infringing your intellectual property. And in this case, we're talking patents. But again, for all of you out there, you've also got copyright and you've got trademark. If you don't have something that's patentable, you certainly have a trademark. It's your company name, it's your logo, it's what separates you from the other guys. And if someone tries to get too close, tries to make their product look like yours by getting too close to your trademark or your name, oh yeah, you can sue them and stop them. And actually that law is much easier to access. Justice is much easier to access there than with patents. Patents have become way too difficult, it's become kind of too much of a game of kings where it shouldn't be. It was for the little guy. But what we used to have was, if you had to fight an infringer, in other words, they steal what you have, you try to get them to stop, try to get them to, say, license it from you, pay you a royalty per item or whatever. And they say, no, go away, sue us if you think you can. So you sue them for infringement. Well, in the old days, that would take place in a real court where you have a jury. And by the way, a jury trial is the 7th Amendment of the Constitution. it's like an American thing. And I know in other countries, they don't have jury trials as much or nearly as much as they do in America. It's one of a key thing that for justice in this country. So here you'd face off against your infringer with a jury of your peers with a lifetime appointed judge. By the way, that's really important because that judge is not looking for a better job from someone and definitely not from your infringer. that would be a problem, right? And also, it's due process. There's back and forth, and you have all the details and the nuances come out, right? And to your viewers, you might say, well, many viewers might be thinking, well, that sounds really expensive. How could I even afford that? Well, the way it was done when the system was fair is you would do it on contingency. If you didn't have the money or couldn't get the funds together, an attorney would do it on contingency where they share in the winnings. So you don't have to pay them much, if anything, up front, but they share, if they win. And it's not a perfect system, but it worked. And I know people who did that years and years ago, and it's a workable system. So what was changed in this law, the law is called the America Invents Act of 2011. Basically, it created an administrative court, a new administrative court where most of these cases would end up, where you don't have a jury. You don't have a real judge. You have 3 government employees, and sometimes some conflicts of interest there have been unbelievably bad, where one of these judges ends up going to work for your infringer. How about that? And you don't have the due process, the back and forth. It's supposed to be more efficient, faster, less expensive. That was the whole way it was sold. Oh, but we'll make it fair, but it never was fair. And basically, presently, if you get dragged into that administrative court, you've got about over an 80% chance of your patent being invalidated, where they basically come out and say, well, you know what? Sorry, it was a mistake. It was just a mistake. Sorry for all the money you spent on it and all the money you spent on your business that now your infringer is going to destroy. We just made a mistake. And of course, it's very unjust what they do. And the cases I know of, and I'll give you some examples in a minute. I'm certain each one of these cases of inventors, they would have won in an actual court with a jury. Yet at this administrative court, which, by the way, the administrative court is called the PTAB, the Patent Trial and Appeal Board. At that administrative court, they got destroyed very unjustly, and that's just what happens. So what we're doing, by the way, your next question is probably, well, what are you guys doing?
Yes. Let's talk about it. Yes.
How do you fix it? This happened in 2011. And just one more thing, and all your viewers, look, this is a bipartisan issue. Everyone should care about an inventor not having whatever he or she has invented be stolen.
Yes.
You want small businesses to thrive. You want people to not be unjustly have their things stolen from them. And, and so that's the good thing. It may be the only totally bipartisan issue there is. I don't know. It's interesting. So the person who was, what happened, so this administrative court that was created, it was going to be run by the Patent Office. And it's kind of like, that sounds okay. That's the way it was sold to Congress. Well, the Patent Office is going to run it. How bad could that be, right? Well, here's the problem. The director of the Patent Office is appointed by the president. And the president typically is somebody who has to raise a ton of money to run for president. And where's that money coming from? And a lot of it comes from big tech. It's just unfortunately the way it works. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was the law gets passed, the administrative court gets made into law, and the person who gets appointed at the Patent Office to set it up and make the rules and hire the judges and all that, as the director of the Patent Office, the person appointed was Michelle Lee, who was the former head of patents at Google. So you think Fox guarding the hen house, well, times 10, and so that's politics, unfortunately. And we want to pull this away from politics. A real court with a jury, that's pulled away from politics. There you have a jury of your peers. That's not political. You have a lifetime appointed judge. That's not political. You have due process, right? So a judge is independent, and that's what we are demanding. We want our right to a jury trial. And so to get that done, we need legislation, and there are a couple of bills we're behind. One of them would get rid of this administrative court, just totally get rid of it. That's a little tougher because it's kind of hard to get a bureaucracy to get rid of a bureaucracy. All right. But another bill we're pushing just makes it so that you would have to consent to being taken to this administrative court. Now, if you have to consent to, by the way, that's called the Balancing Incentives Act. If you have to consent, then they'd have to make it very fair for you to be willing to consent. So that's why it's called the Balancing Incentives Act. And if they don't make it fair, and they could theoretically, it could be made fair. We just want to make sure we have our right to a jury trial. But if they made this administrative court fair enough, we'd be willing to go there. And so that is the big effort, to get a law or laws passed that fix the situation that we're facing.
Yeah, this is really, really educational. Thank you for sharing all these. Much appreciated.
In fact, I'm thinking, as you say it, I'm thinking your viewers would probably like to maybe know of a few examples.
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, so here's one. I'm sure many of your viewers are younger than myself, but some of them are probably older than me. And it used to be, if you had a heart valve that had to be replaced in your heart, they had to do open heart surgery. They had to cut your chest open, stop your heart. Terrible surgery. 20% of the people died from the surgery. I mean, it was like really, and they wouldn't even do it on everybody. You had to be in pretty good shape to even do it. But what do? You got a heart valve. You have to do something. Well, there was a doctor in Oklahoma. His name is Dr. Troy Norrid, a heart doctor. He had this wild, crazy idea that it could be done without ever even having to cut your chest open. And he figured out how to do it, and he tested it, and everyone thought he was crazy. Other heart doctors thought, this guy's nuts. This is impossible. And that's kind of how people think. An inventor comes up with something outside of the box, and the people who've been entrenched in doing it the old way, oh, we got to do it this way forever. And of course, this is why you want inventors, because they take that risk, and they take the all the people claiming they're crazy, and it's like
they come with innovation. Yes, yes.
and look, a lot of times
Absolutely.
It doesn't work, but every now and then it's the thing. And so what he invented is what is now called TAVR. It's transcatheter aortic valve replacement. It's where they take a special valve and they feed it up through from an artery in your thigh. They feed it up and they place it in your beating heart, and you go home the next day.
Wow.
How about this? This is fabulous. And
Yes.
of course, and so he was actually talking to a big company, Medtronic. Medtronic's a huge company in medical devices and all that. And they were actually talking to him about giving him $40 million for the rights to this. And he probably should have taken it. And if anything, it might have been low, really low, considering what it is. But at that time, as they were talking to him, that bill, the American Invents Act, that was going to create this administrative court, that was actually going through Congress. They passed the bill, and next thing you know, Medtronic is using that administrative court, the PTAB, to invalidate his patent. And they successfully invalidated it and gave him nothing. And now they have a multi-billion-dollar industry. And when he runs into a doctor who's doing the procedure, he'll say, hey, I invented that. And they think he's crazy because nobody's ever heard of it. This is great. This is really bad. Now, look, he's not on the street starving. He's a heart doctor, right? Heart surgeon. So it's not like he's a homeless guy. But the point is, talk about unfairness. And why would you step out on a limb and spend all your time and maybe risk your marriage, or your wife is probably saying, why are you doing that? You're wasting our money. It's not gonna work, whatever. And inventors, it's just very unfair. I'll give you another example. There's a woman who's part of our group. You might want to interview her sometime. Her name is Molly Metz. Molly is a 5-time world champion jump roper.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know that was a sport that had world champions, but it does.
Okay. Yes.
And she's in better shape than, I was an athlete, and I was never in the shape she's in. But so she got in a car wreck, and in speed jumping, it's like if things are off, you got to hold the rope just right and all that. And she was having a hard time with it. So she started tinkering with new, different ways that ropes could be made. And she came up with something that has become the big thing among people who really are serious jump ropers. And what it is where, as we were growing up, a jump rope, you had a rope goes in, this rope goes into this handle, right?
Mhm.
Rope goes into the handle, and that's a
Yes.
jump rope. In her thing, the rope doesn't go into the handle. It actually goes off the side of the handle. It's actually a cable, goes off the side of the handle, and there are a couple of swiveling mechanisms that connect it. So it's so fast and efficient. It's amazing. But there was nothing like it, out there on the market. So she comes out with it. Anybody in the industry who tried it said, "Oh, you got to make me one of these." And so she ended up getting it patented and building a business around it. Had about 50 people working for her in Colorado. Startup, all American made startup in America. Very successful. And then Rogue Fitness came along. They're a big player in sporting goods.
Mhm.
And they were going to license it from her. It all looked good, but then they go silent and they just come out with their version. And now they've got like 15 versions of her jump rope with their name on it. And she tried to sue them for patent infringement, but she got pulled into that administrative court, the PTAB, got her patent invalidated, and now they have it all, and she has nothing. And she's like, she still has one employee. They're still selling them, but it's like this little bitty operation where this large corporation took it, and now they're making all the profits. So it's a sad situation, but a minute ago I told you that President Trump is actually helping. I bet you and your viewers would like to know how that is.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and by the way, regardless of whether you like him or hate him, I understand some people love him, some people hate him.
Just to your point, this is a non-political issue. I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, that doesn't matter. Which side of the aisle we are, or whoever may be. That's not the point. The point is actually very national subject. So let's talk about it. Absolutely.
And I will tell you this. The lobbyists who are working for big tech, oh man, they're lobbying both sides of the aisle. Unfortunately, they were very successful back in getting that bill passed. But so President Trump comes along, and now he's one of the very few, if not the only person who has ever run for president that didn't need to borrow a lot of money from other people to run, And so he didn't take money from big tech to run. In fact, of course, they're trying to make friends with him now, but as we know, anyone who followed it, they were definitely not helping him get elected. And so President Trump does something totally different. He puts in, number one, he appoints a Secretary of Commerce who's Howard Lutnick, who has a whole bunch of patents. Howard Lutnick has patents, a lot of them, and directly under the Secretary of Commerce is the Undersecretary of Commerce for Intellectual Property, who is the director of the Patent Office. His name is John Squires, who Trump appointed, and John Squires has totally turned this thing around. And big tech and the big corporations that want to infringe patents and not be sued for infringement, they're going nuts. But this John Squires is doing a fabulous job. And what has happened is, where it used to be that these corporations had about a 70% chance of dragging you into this administrative court to invalidate your patent. So about 70% of the time they can get you there. Now it's only about 20%. That's a huge improvement. In fact, now what John Squires and his team are doing is they're saying, okay, wait a minute. You can't get dragged into the PTAB unless there's actually a serious issue with your patent. And so that, of course, that helps a ton. Now, this is all great. And of course, this fits with President Trump's effort to bring manufacturing back. Look, part of bringing manufacturing back is being able to defend your patents and your intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
If Chinese corporations can just steal it, they have cheaper labor. They're going to outcompete you, right? So this is very important, very important. And of course, and I'm look, I can only assume that President Trump knows a lot about this issue, and that's why he appointed Secretary Lutnick and Undersecretary Squires, and of course these guys are working hard to to bring back what we're trying to bring back. Now, here's the problem. So all hats off to President Trump for doing this. But the next president is going to appoint another director of the Patent Office. I mean, not necessarily, but almost always. And unless I don't see another Trump in there. What I see is a situation where almost instantly we could lose everything that Trump has put in place. when that happens, which is why we have to really use all this momentum to get good legislation passed.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, in the American Business Podcast, we are pro business. I mean, it has to
Yeah.
work for the business. And when we say business, it's the priority is always small and mid-sized businesses, which they are the backbone of U.S. economy. There are millions of American businesses in
Yeah,
U.S. and most of them are small and mid-sized companies. That's very important. Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, whether or not you have, I mean, you certainly have an intellectual property, whatever business you have, but you may or may not realize that there may be something patentable that you are working on or could work on or may come up with.
Yes.
And when that happens, man, you've got to have patent rights. And I just want to say to everybody out there, if you care about the future of American innovation, look, this is why big tech is so monopolistic. They don't have competition from startups because as much as they should, because they can take out startups. This is also why China is starting to kick our butt. And there's a think tank that estimates that they're taking the lead, and they're threatening to take the lead in almost every important new technology. Well, again, it's our startups. How does an investor invest in a startup if they're worried about the patent being invalidated? It's harder to have these startups that are so important to America. So everybody out there, whether you're an inventor or even, look, this is about the future of our country and the existential threat of China, and let's not have a few corporations control everything. You can help us by simply going to usinventor.org. And if you sign our inventor rights resolution, okay, at usinventor.org, that puts you on our list, and we can show to our lawmakers, hey, we have a huge number of people all across the country, as we do now, but we need more. And it helps our cause, but also we'll let you know, you'll get invited to our Zoom calls and stuff if you want to attend, which are very informative. But also, it may be that there's a moment where we need to talk to your U.S. rep or your senators, and we'll invite you to be on the Zoom call with us. And it just, their constituents mean everything to them. That is our superpower. It's not money.
True.
It's constituents around the country who are able to talk to their,
absolutely.
And so I would really encourage you guys, go to usinventor.org, sign the inventor rights resolution, and help us. This is such a critical fight for the future of this country, and we can win it. And actually, we can win it right now, especially under the current administration. So help us out.
This is great, and thank you for these announcements, and I'm glad that you shared all these insights. Very important. So just to also manage the time and also follow our flow, so we have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast, and I have a question for you from our previous guest, but you already answered it. The question was the mission and the vision. You already introduced U.S. Inventor, which is great. I mean, you already got the answer, and we truly appreciate it. What question would you like to leave with us today for our next guest?
You know, that's interesting because it's like I have decided to do something that totally is my mission and what I want to do. And a lot of people in business, you know, you're doing something, you know, let's face it, you got to pay the bills, you got to make money, you know, keep the wife happy. But maybe it's not really the thing you would like to be doing. So maybe I'd like to say, is there something that you would like to either do full-time or part-time that might fit with like your a greater need you have to help mankind?
Okay. This is a great question. Okay, I'll make sure to ask to our next guest. Any question that you would like to ask me in this episode?
What is your mission and your purpose?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Well, in the American Business Podcast, our mission is to support, promote, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community. That's our mission. So we are an informative business podcast, and we are creating this educational environment on the podcast to help businesses, professionals, executives to learn from each other. So today we learned a lot from you. So that was actually really good. And I'm glad that you asked this question. So I have a chance to remind our viewers. They know us very well. Of course, we have a great community. Just to refresh minds, that I'm glad that I talk about our mission as well. So this is great. What is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Say it again. Oh, career advice.
Yes, please.
You know, I mean, look, I think I would say do something that you care about. It doesn't mean, look, look, if you're a nonprofit like this, you're not going to get rich running a nonprofit. I will tell you this: I'm working on a movie script that could be a blockbuster, so we'll see. but and obviously we all want to do well financially. But I would say make sure that what you do is meaningful to you, not just something that will make you money. Because if it's just something that will make money, but it's maybe something you don't care about, or maybe it's something that is maybe something you really don't necessarily like, that's a bad combination for your future and for your health and your mental health and all that stuff. So my advice would be, do something that you care about.
I love it. Thank you for this advice. Thank you. Okay, well, for those who like to be in touch with you and learn more about the organization, you mentioned it, but let's repeat it. That doesn't hurt. What is the best way that they can be in touch with you? And we can repeat it again, how they can get in touch with US Inventor.
Yep. So it's usinventor.org. And by the way, if you sign our Inventor Rights Resolution, you'll be on our list. So you'll hear from us periodically about what we're doing and calls to action. That's the Inventor Rights Resolution. But if you have a specific question, you can even email me directly at randy@usinventor.org.
I love it. Randy, it's a pleasure meeting with you today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us today in the American Business Podcast.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you. You too.
And to our audience and to our listeners, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you very much. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connection America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event. Networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Would you like to start your business podcast? We are here to help. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. When we started the American Business Podcast on February 28, 2025, we had only one mission in mind: to promote, support, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the American business community. Within our first 6 months, we managed to pass 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and we received YouTube Silver Award. This is an important award. It shows our dedication to American business and to the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and American Business Podcast community. Now you can have your own branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. You can promote your company, your products, your services, and you'll have instant visibility in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and followers. You can promote your company, your products and services. You can educate and inspire businesses and individuals. More importantly, you can tell your story, your brand story. How did you get started? What makes you different? And how you are helping your customers and communities. As you know, in the American Business Podcast, I've been talking to more than 100 American businesses. Each business has a story that is inspiring and motivational. I know your business also has a great story which is motivational and inspiring. It is time for you to have your business podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We help you start your business podcast and we help you grow your business. This is a great opportunity for you to be visible in the marketplace in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and subscribers. And this is a great opportunity for us to fulfill our mission to promote, support, and uplift American businesses. Please send us an email and let's get the conversation started. It is paas@americanpodcast.tv. Business podcasting as a service, powered by the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast is America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I'm the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you, working with you, and help you grow your business with your new business podcast. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Beckert. Anywhere Apps are business software systems, and they are designed to digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to focus on contract management anywhere as part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. Contract Management Anywhere is an AI-powered vendor, customer, and legal contract management software system. It is modern, it runs on cloud, it's easy to use, and it's scalable. Because of the AI capabilities of the system, software comes with an AI chatbot that you can get your answers about any contracts that you have. Renewal dates, amounts, start dates, and other details can be learned from the system in a conversation. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about Contract Management Anywhere, as well as Anywhere apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me a direct email about Anywhere apps and Contract Management Anywhere, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. I'll be happy to help you and help you schedule a demo session with Team Anywhere apps. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy Anywhere apps. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Otter AI. Otter is the AI note taker that builds your knowledge and powers your workflow with transcription, automated summaries, AI chat, and more. Get your AI-powered assistant for meeting notes, tasks, and more. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up today. Otter AI is the latest note taker that you can utilize, and you can set your meetings, you can take your notes, and you can also set up your follow-up actions automatically with the help of the Otter AI. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta. Invicta is known for its stylish watches, both for men and women. Invicta is offering unisex watches as well. I have a confession. I am an Invicta fan, and I've been using Invicta watches for many years. This one is 57mm Invicta watch, automatic. Because it's black color, it goes well with my business outfit. And because it's automatic, I don't need batteries for my watch. It gets the energy by me just moving the watch from my wrist. So it creates energy and it can go pretty much non-stop. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, you'll be able to see the Invicta watch collection. And you can pick the one that you like based on the color, style, and technology. Please scan the QR code, start shopping today, and join me using Invicta. I'm sure you'll like it. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from DocuSign. If you are signing vendor contracts and customer contracts very often, just like I do on daily basis, consider DocuSign. DocuSign is the latest modern digital and electronic signature software system. Furthermore, you can manage your vendor contracts, customer contracts, NDAs, and any other commercial contracts on DocuSign digitally with no need of local installation and no need of keeping your documents on your laptop or your mobile device. Furthermore, with the latest technology of DocuSign, it has intelligent agreement management. It recognizes your repeated documents and creates contracts automatically and makes things easier for you. Do you know how many users are there for the DocuSign system? More than 1 billion users. There are many companies using DocuSign and trust DocuSign for electronic and digital signature. True story. I also use DocuSign on daily basis and it works smoothly. Highly recommended. You see the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you fill up the form to start your free trial and join the DocuSign user community. Enjoy your DocuSign experience, and I hope you sign up today. I have the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much, and enjoy the experience. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere apps. Anywhere apps are business software systems. They are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to focus on quality management anywhere. Are you compliant with ISO 9001? Are you compliant with AS 9100? Or maybe you are in medical device industry and you are compliant with ISO 13485. No matter what compliance requirement that you have at your organization, Quality Management Anywhere is designed to help you digitally comply those requirements. It comes with ready-made quality document management module, corrective action module, continuous improvement module, customer complaint management module, audit management module, instant management module, and many other modules that you can utilize for your compliance needs. Because the system is cloud-based, you can access it from anywhere. It also has installation capabilities. If you are in aerospace industry, defense industry, and the software needs to be on your private cloud or on your private server on premises, there is also a deployment option for your organization. It is designed for quality management and compliance management by quality management and compliance management experts. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about quality management anywhere, as well as anywhere apps in general. There is more. I also have a direct line, kevin@kerconsulting.com. You can send me a direct email for your questions and or schedule a demo for anywhere apps, quality management anywhere, and I'll be happy to assist you in this process. Thank you very much for your support and looking forward to hearing from you. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours, restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Wizen. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with Wizen, trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. Wizen helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for Wizen today. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Just Answer. Real help from real experts 24/7. Experts such as lawyers, doctors, veterinarians, computer technicians, home improvement experts, mechanics, personal tax experts, computer technicians, and many other experts are available for you 24/7 on Just Answer. You'll get your answers anytime, during the day, during the night, 24/7, and you'll get your answers from reliable sources. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you can sign up for Just Answer. The answers you need at a price that is right. Scan the QR code and sign up for Just Answer today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming the American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.